Hello, before I get into this, I'm going to start and just go ahead and lead off by saying this. This is never going to happen. It never will happen, and the point that I'm hypothesizing or contemplating or anything like this is objectively just a waste of time and a creation of a topic to talk about, I guess, and, hypothetical what ifs. So, if that's enough for you to click off of the video, I understand 100%, and I would go recommend, I don't know, watching someone else. Anyway, I like this. I think it was a cool thing to talk about, so I'm going to talk about it. Yeehaw. And don't mind the garbage gameplay in the background. I really didn't want to play the game, and instead I had to run into nothing but players using 120s and shotguns and shatter dives and all that fun stuff. Anyway, I didn't want to get a gameplay, so we're just using this one. Crucible Campaigns and Combined Arms. In case you didn't play it, or just never heard of it, in Destiny 1 there was a Crucible playlist known as Combined Arms. Originally, it was a year one event that lasted a few days, like 3, eventually making its way to a weekly playlist that focused on longer range and vehicular combat on larger maps. To give you context of what these maps were like, imagine if SUROS Harbor on the Moon was made into a PvP map. It was that kind of thing. Originally, you would get Clash and Control, making for some gameplay diversity, although not much. Heavy ammo would actually spawn more frequently, and Guardians would get access to their Sparrows, Fallen Pikes, and Cabal Interceptors, of all things. Needless to say, it was definitely a unique departure from the Crucible that we've come to know across the years. In my opinion, it really wasn't all that great for a lot of players, including myself, for a few reasons. Mine mainly being that it felt kind of empty most of the time. It was still locked to the standard 12-player Crucible experience, and this led to, again, the gameplay feeling very spaced out and sniper campy instead of this essence of vehicular combat and high-octane player versus player action. Anyhow, now that I've explained to you what you probably already knew, and you're sitting here thinking, okay, cool, what in the world is a Crucible campaign? That's the other part of the title. I'll get into that right now. Crucible Campaigns is what I'm envisioning. I don't know if that's the right word, or hypothesizing. Hypothesizing is not correct, so we'll just say envisioning. Imagine if we had the factions involved in Crucible and how this could look in a grand sense. Lore-wise, let's put ourselves in this situation. The Travelers reformed itself, or whatever it did on the last day and season of Arrivals, where it exploded and it's new again. Guardian power's been revitalized, and interest in the Crucibles at an all-time high in the last city. The mysterious powers of stasis have piqued all interest, from the novice Guardians awaiting Crucible training to the normie citizens of the last city and everyone in between. Everyone wants a piece. The Foundries are back to sponsoring Crucible champions, citizens are representing their support of their favorites, and the factions want to have the champions within their ranks. Of course, this is general lore stuff and serves as a placeholder example because I'm really not good with the lore stuff. I'm just not. And I want to go out on a limb here and say I actually watched a BIFE video for this, and I've never watched a BIFE video until this point. So I hope I got a lot of this or most of this right, and I hope I did something for the lore fans to appreciate, because I've never really been big on the Destiny lore. I don't know. I know it's depthful and cool, but I don't really care about it. I just play the game, dude. Back to the topic regarding Crucible campaigns. The general idea I've laid out is similar to faction rallies in Guardian games, but a lot less boring and a lot more actually doing something meaningful. I'm going to break it down. Crucible campaigns are/would be a multi-phase community event, similar in approach to Guardian games, exclusively utilizing the Combined Arms playlist. Players would pledge their allegiance to a single faction on their account, so that's one per account, not character, which could not be reversed. I fear you're missing out, am I right? I'm not sure if we would include all 3 city factions in the spirit of keeping things balanced statistically, or if we would introduce 2 new Crucible factions, or if we would just have 2 weapon foundries go head-to-head each campaign, but the concept remains the same. Phases ideally lasting 1 to 3 weeks, with each phase of the campaign having the players' respective factions instructing them to accomplish something in the Combined Arms playlist. Capturing flags, defeating enemy guardians, assisting defeats, winning matches, etc., with each phase granting the victor winning faction a slight advantage for the remainder of the campaign, with each task being created in a way that deters AFK botting and playlists. I'm more partial to having 2 factions go at it, so I'll just give a couple examples here. For example, Future War Cult wins Phase 1, winning the favor of Hake, granting every representative of Future War Cult double special ammo on spawn in the Combined Arms playlist. Not that bad. Dead Orbit wins Phase 2, winning the favor of SUROS, granting every representative of Dead Orbit 3% faster super energy gain. Again, impactful, but not crazy massive. Future War Cult wins Phase 3, winning the favor of VEIST, granting every representative of Future War Cult 8% extra weapon stability and reload speed. Again, this is a bigger one, but not crazy, overpowered. The faction with the most points at the end of the campaign winning, granting an exclusive weapon added to the loot pool for all players, with class items functioning similarly to the Guardian games class items that would change like metal color based on the class's position in the Guardian games. This is unlikely though. Each faction would have their own loot and weapon pools that would, of course, gradually get bigger and incentivize players trying out the opposing factions in order to both be more friendly for the sake of balance and completionists, because there are people out there who enjoy completing the game, acquiring every item, completing every triumph, etc. Ideally, I'd love the playlist matchmaking to be a 12v12 faction versus faction. This is granted the maps are combined arm size, which would be large and all that type of thing, with no team balancing and no skill-based matchmaking in order to have the factions kind of not helping each other to win. But I don't see this happening, honestly. Most of the time I'm treated like I'm stupid, so I'm going to go out of my way here and mention that it's pretty cool if they just make a Crucible campaign playlist instead and then just keep it like 6v6 with clash control, supremacy, whatever. Like that works too. As for the frequency of these campaigns, I'm thinking maybe once per season or once every 2 seasons, since I feel like Bungie doesn't really have much priority on Crucible, and they haven't for a while now. And I feel like the frequency of 8 weeks out of 52 in a year wouldn't be too much to ask for a little fun event to tie into the Crucible and extend the lore. Or, they could tie this into some other content. I don't know. Regardless, I just figured I'd make this. I typed this little draft up because I was thinking about it over the past day. And I thought it was pretty cool, a nice way to reintroduce the Combined Arms playlist and possibly make some PvP that's bigger than 6v6. And, a lot of people are going to be like, oh, Shadow Dive, Station. But, look at the bigger picture, it would definitely make it a little bit more engaging, a little bit more fun. People love the chaos, also known as the completely random nature of Destiny PvP. And I feel like this is just a nice little thing that would, kind of give PvP players something to do besides complain on Twitter or complain on Reddit. Anyway, that's my approach to it. Like I said, guys, this is never going to happen. It will never happen. Nothing like this will ever happen for Crucible. I'm convinced. I don't mean to bring down morale, but I'm being as gravely honest and realistic as possible. Unfortunately, that's what this entails. Anyway, I'm done stalling. Hopefully this, gave you something to talk about on Twitter, talk about it to your friends. I don't really have a good ender for this video, so I'm just going to end it now. Thanks for watching.